Hey everybody, this is Ryan McKenna with Outshine Realty. I wanted to do a quick video to explain about the changes from the National Association of Realtors settlement last month, proposed changes to buyer broker commission and how it's advertised. So the way it used to be previously was that you would make an agreement with your listing agent that you would probably pay 6%. 6% average. Could be more or less. But some people didn't realize that that is divided between the seller's agent, 3%, and the buyer's agent, 2%. Now, that could have also been set up as 4% and 2%. For example, it all depends on what the agreement is. What would happen is that the buyer's agents didn't like that they couldn't define this. And some of the sellers didn't like that either, that this was not something that was very transparent to them in some cases, not all cases, just some cases. So because of this, they created this lawsuit and part of the settlement. And because it is a settlement, there was no guilt on by any party defined. They just agreed to do this to make this case stop moving forward, basically. So what the settlement said is that every time somebody shows a house from now on, you have to have a written buyer agreement with the buyer's agent. So whenever you wanted to show a house or view a house in the past, you just call up a realtor. They would come and show you the house. No big deal. Not a big, nothing you had to really do that was special. Now, before you view the house, you have to sign an agreement with that agent saying that if you buy that house or any other house that they show you, you will pay the agent a commission of a certain amount that you negotiate. That could be 2%, 3%, whatever, 4%, whatever percent you decide to agree on. That's what you will be paying them at the closing table. The other reason that they made this change is for transparency, because not all the time was it super clear. You didn't know if you said 6%, you don't know where it goes. You just see 6% on your closing. You see that it's going somewhere. You might, if you two looked real close, you might see how this was split up on the end. But a lot of times sellers don't really pay attention. They just see that, they took out this money and they just say, oh, well, that's how much I had to pay my realtors. Going forward, we cannot advertise in MLS the percent of what we're going to offer to the buyer's agent. So that must be negotiated after the fact. So they have to either contact the agent directly and negotiate it. They have to negotiate it with their own agent, or they have to figure out how they're going to work it, whether they pay it themselves or whatever their choice is. Leading into the next thing, buyers may pay their agent fees. So previously, the seller would just pay all the fees. All of the realtor fees would be part of the seller. Indirectly, the buyer was paying it because they would get the loan and then pay the seller and pay the closing costs. They're the ones getting the loan that covers paying all of this. So sometimes it felt like the sellers were paying it because it was on their part of the sheet. Technically, the buyers were the one borrowing the money to pay that for the sellers. So it's a different process now. Now you can negotiate to have the seller pay that buyer's broker's fee if you want them to. And a lot of people might not be able to afford it because you're already paying the closing costs and you're paying the down payment for the loan, and so that can add up, especially if you're FHA, it's 3% down. And then you have your closing costs and things like that. And you still have to pay to move. You have to pay for all the expenses that are involved in that. It's helpful if you can get the seller to still pay your realtor's commission. But the problem is they're not required to now. So you have to negotiate that into your offer. That might be a problem and it might not be. Many sellers are expecting this if their realtors explain it to them properly, and they'll expect it to be coming. But some of them aren't wanting to pay it. So it'll be part of your offer. Whenever you offer, you can put in there, seller will pay buyer's commission up to X percent, 2%, 3%, whatever amount you want it to be. and then they can agree on it or maybe alter it or say no altogether. And the other thing that can happen is if you have multiple offers and you're coming in with an average offer, but you're asking for the seller to pay your commissions for your agent. The problem there is that you might not have a strong enough offer because you are asking for that extra money, and somebody else might come in at the same price and not be asking for it. So their offer would be better. So whenever you're asking for somebody to pay your buyer's agent fees, you want to come in with a good, strong offer, and your buyer's agent should help you constructing that, negotiating your offer. And most of the time, like I said, the sellers will probably still pay your commission, your buyer's agent commission, but you still want to check on that and always talk to your buyer's agent. And if you are looking to buy or sell a property, please come talk to me, Ryan McKenna at Outshine Realty. I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to answer any questions about this or anything else. Thank you.